Like, do you think that there's a case to be made for, Mahomes not being himself this Sunday?
Not a
No?
chance. Not a chance. Dude, look at Drew Brees. Look what he played
Yeah.
with in the last game, right? He had like 11 broken ribs. and,
Yeah.
and he was still
Yeah.
able to do that. And Patrick Mahomes is cleared from concussion protocol. He's fine. He just has a toe injury, and Drew Brees is playing with like 11 broken ribs and like some other like crazy stuff. I don't know what was going on with him.
Yeah. Today they said he played with a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah, like what is this?
He's part of the Astros scandal, and I don't know how much I like that, but obviously he's always been like a huge asset for them, and I think that he definitely, given that we're still a long way away from being, the leading team or anything like that, that he's definitely going to be, transformational.
Yeah, it's a big piece. I think we're closer than you might think. I think our window is like it's now, like with Springer, Vladdy, Biggio,
Yeah.
and Bichette and all those guys. Like, and the AL is kind of wide open too. Like, it's just the Yankees really, and I mean the Astros are still going to be there, but they just lost Springer, and I don't know. We'll get into that. We'll get into all that stuff. I think we'll do some NFL first. We'll do some NFL preview, NFC Championship game and AFC Championship game. And then we'll talk to George Springer signing. So welcome back to Unlimited, everybody. I got a great guest today. Longtime friend of mine. He's a big football, hockey, and baseball fan. He's a Saints fan. He's a Red Wings fan. He's a Blue Jays fan. And he's on the call from McMaster University. It's Evan Spence. Evan, thanks for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
All good, buddy. Thanks for having me on, Aiden. How's things with you?
Things are great. Can't complain. You got to appreciate the little things these days. Lots of stuff going on in the world, but hey, I'm glad to be on a Zoom call talking to you about sports. Doesn't get much better than that. So we're gonna
Awesome,
talk.
man.
We're gonna talk some NFL. It's a big championship weekend coming up. We got two big time matchups: Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, and then we got the Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I mean, it's going to be wild. It's they're two great matchups, four phenomenal quarterbacks going at it. So Evan, before we get into that, we got to talk some Saints. You are a Saints fan. I just wanna know what you're feeling, I guess, right after the season. That's a disappointing loss against the Bucks. So how are you feeling right now?
You know what? They really they they had a good run at it, as they have the past 3 to 4 years. They put their best foot forward. The running game was there, but Tom Brady, just things kind of tend to go in his favor, and he really pulled it out of his hat, and I guess you have to hand it to him. Like, he made the change this year with a new team, and he was able to come out on top. Like, the Saints, they've been knocking on the door, and I don't have too negative of an outlook on it, but we'll see what happens going forward.
If you're the Saints and you're looking back at that game that ended their season, what do you think they could have done differently to turn the outcome in that? Like you said, Brady, it's tough to beat him, and he was rolling, and the Saints put up a good fight. But what do you think the Saints could have done better to give him a better shot in that game?
Um, like Breeze did, he wasn't the best he could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamara, like, he played well. The Bucks D line was not like able to fully get their hands on him. And you know what? It like they really, I think they could have just they could have been more hungry. They could have been hungrier for it, and it just wasn't quite there. So like I said, the Bucks, they allowed like almost 5 yards per carry against Kamara, and it's just like their offense wasn't the worst thing in the world, but they couldn't hack Tom Brady, which at the end of the day isn't the worst thing. it isn't the most shameful thing to kind of not be
Not
able
at all.
to take him.
Hmm.
So like what could have done differently? I'd say like they could have really just been nastier and hungrier for the game, and I guess that wasn't fully there.
I guess so. Yeah, it's you got to give credit to the Bucks. Like the way that they came together as a team this year and the changes that were made around that team and Brady coming to a new team, Gronk, are the other players going to accept them and coming together? And, there was some shaky times, earlier in the season, but they've really found their rhythm. As for the Saints, they had a phenomenal year. Like they always have great regular seasons and they just can't
Yeah,
seem to get it done in the playoffs. But, they've also had some pretty bad playoff luck as well. And, that Minneapolis Miracle, unfortunately, and then the blown call against the Rams in
yeah.
the championship game there. So, do you think this is the end of the line for Drew Brees? That's kind of a big topic of discussion right now. It's up in the air. Do you think he can come back for another year?
You know what? I think so. He's always just been able to almost not to the same extent as Brady, but he's always just been able to like keep on powering through. And like we saw that clip at the end of the game where like he's playing catch with Brady's son or whatever. And
Mhm.
I think like just the way that he kind of handles his standing in football and all that, and just the way that he's always just pushing through and looking for another season. Like you said, probably not too much longer, but I'd say probably that like we'll see him next season.
Yeah, I hope to see him. I really want to see him get back to the Super Bowl and try and win it because he's still a great quarterback. At his age, making it all this way and putting up the numbers that he does still, he's right up there with the greats. And I mean, he's got his Super Bowl already, so he can't really complain too much. But I think he can
Yeah,
get another one. And that Saints offense with Thomas and Kamara, like they're a very good offense. And Sean Payton as their head coach, they got a good team, and if Breeze is back next year, you got to expect them to be in the thick of things again. So let's move on to the matchup now. Let's stick with the NFC. Packers Bucks. I'm a Lions fan. Don't really like the Packers too much. They're in this game. They're a great team. You got to give them credit. Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the best against Tom Brady. One of the best as well. And this is a very exciting matchup. I cannot wait to see these two go head to head. We haven't seen this matchup in the playoffs yet, ever. This is the first time they're matching up in the playoffs. But I believe it's 2-1 Brady in like the regular season matchups. And also the Bucks. They also beat the Packers earlier on in this year. So they might have the upper hand, but who knows? It could go either way here. I'm not going to ask for a prediction right away, but Evan, what do you expect to see let's go with the Packers first. We talked a bit about the Bucks earlier. So Packers, what do you expect to see from the Packers in this one?
yeah. So snowy Lambeau Field, it's looking like,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think it's gonna Brady. I don't think he'll have a problem coming up against the Packers. They're without Bakhtiari.
Yep.
Um, so yeah,
Aaron
he and
Rodgers' favorite O lineman. That's a big piece
yeah,
that they're missing
yeah.
him.
So I think a lot of this is going to come down to, can Aaron Rodgers have a special day? He's gotten the team, the Packers have gotten a lot better in the second half of the season. And he's got some good assets to work with. But yeah, we'll see what happens. They've got a few holes to fill on defense. Like they
Yep.
weren't too great against the run
No.
against LA. They let Akers do a lot against them last week. But like I said, I think you're going to see in this game. I know we're talking mostly about the Packers right now, but I think it's going to be a shootout. It's like I think you nailed it. The teams are really equal, and we'll see what Brady Rodgers brings.
Yeah, I cannot wait. It's going to be insane. I wish it was kind of at
Yeah.
night. I wish they got the later half of it. But hey, the other game's going to be, equally as good, if not better. So Yeah, let's stick with the Packers. So, like Evan said, that run defense wasn't that good. I believe they gave up 90 yards to Akers in that one. But the Packers, their strength is their offense, and it's not so much the defense. They do have a lot of holes there, but Devontae Adams, he had a career year. Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. But then it's not just him. It's Alan Lazard. It's Marquez, Valdez, Scantling. They got some pieces there that Rodgers can go to. And then I believe they have a triple threat at running back as well with Jones. I believe is it Dillon, CJ Dillon, and Jamal Williams in the run game. So they got three great pieces to work with there. And on the flip side, if you look at the Bucks, I think they're more complete. And I don't know if that's a wrong statement, but I would say the Packers maybe have the upper hand on the offense, but the Bucks still have a phenomenal offense. Don't get me wrong. Even though they don't have Antonio Brown for this one, they're still good. And then on defense, I think the Bucks are way better. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it there with Sue, JPP, and also Devin White on the outside. The Packers are going to have a lot of trouble, I think, running, especially on the outside. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be under a lot of pressure, I think. He's okay against the blitz. We've seen him year after year with kind of just rolling out on his back foot and making those 50-yard passes. But again, like you said, on the offensive side too, with Mike Evans, and then just Brady in and of himself, like Chris Godwin as well. He's got some really good chemistry. Jones too.
Mm-hmm.
And Fournette was really good last time around for some good 5-7 yard punches. So yeah, we'll see. But I think you're right. The Bucks have probably the more well-rounded team, especially with Green Bay's missing piece in Bakhtiari.
Yeah, and that could be a struggle because we did see, the Bucks being able to get a lot of pressure against the Saints. And I mean, Drew Brees is also good at evacuating and getting away and getting his throws off. But the Bucks defense is very good. They have been very good all season long. And I think that they could potentially get to Rodgers. And you do bring up a great point with Bakhtiari out. That's a big hole. I would look for the Bucks to target that position and just go after and really get to Rodgers. And I think that's the way you win the game. Because if it comes down to just offense, and I do agree with you that it's going to be a shootout, like I don't think the Packers can just rely on their offense. I think they're going to need to shut down Brady on defense and clog up Jones and Fournette in the run game. And I think it might be a struggle. And we've seen Tom Brady in the past. Like, if you have a weak defense, he's going to find a way to put his best guys up against your worst guys. He's that matchup genius. He's looking for those big weaknesses and he's going to capitalize. And he's got some great targets on the outside with Evans and Godwin. So I think it's prediction time now. Let's go into it. Who do you think's winning this game? And it's a tough one.
It is a tough one. You know what? I think going back to what I said a little bit earlier, the Packers have some momentum. There's no doubt about it. I'd say I think it's a pretty big missing piece in terms of blocking to prevent, the Tampa Bay stacked D line from getting to Rodgers. I think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. It's going to be a cold game, and I think Brady will be able to keep his cool and work his magic. As long as we don't see guys in the beginning of the game with hoodies and stuff like that. Other than Brady, like I said, he won't have a problem, but it could be 4 or 5 degrees Celsius below, and we could see Tampa Bay maybe fall apart if they're not able to withstand the cold. But I think as long as they do that, probably I'll go with the Bucks.
Yeah, I didn't really factor in the weather too much in my prediction, but now that you say it, maybe the Packers are, going to be a little bit more used to the weather, obviously, and that could be an advantage. I wonder if the Bucks are already there. Maybe the coaches were like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe we should just get used to some of this colder weather." Because in Tampa Bay, I don't think there's snow right now.
Yeah,
So I wonder if they're already there prepping for this and getting used to it. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a high scoring game. There's no question
yeah.
about it. And I mean, like I said, I think the Bucks just have that more complete team, and it's really tough to go against Tom Brady in the playoffs. But yet again, it's tough to go against Rodgers, and that's what makes this matchup so special. Like we've never seen it before. But I've been saying for a while it's going to be Bucks, Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think I said that on the big league, I think earlier on in the season too. So I'm gonna stick with that. Bucks, Chiefs. Bucks
Yeah.
take this one. It's gonna be really, really high scoring. I think. I don't see it being low. And the weather. Yeah, you really got me thinking with the weather now. The Packers could be really used to that. And use that to their advantage. But hey, we'll see.
It might not be a game changer, but I think it may be something to consider,
Yeah.
given that it is, like you said, Tampa Bay. Um, but I think, like you said, Brady is a playoff guy, and I think he'll be able to keep things under control. And most likely, it's looking like the Bucks for me.
Yeah, and if they get past the Packers, then they're in the Super Bowl. Brady's got a chance at his 7th Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Clearly the best quarterback of all time. Nobody really stands in his way. I do want to talk a little bit about Brady and the Patriots, a little bit about him and Belichick. And do you really think that now that obviously Brady has had the success in Tampa, do you really think that Brady and Belichick had, or sorry, I guess, do you think that Belichick had that influence on Brady that made him who he is, or do you think it was strictly all Tom Brady and Belichick didn't have that much to do with it, as some people might think?
Um, Brady in himself, Brady himself is he's a superstar. Belichick, I think, was a key to his success in the things that he was able to do with New England. He's one of the best coaches ever. He, he is a risk taker, but at the same time, he just has this way about him where he's able to just systematically dismantle a team. And I think Brady, in and of himself, um, like he wasn't solely dependent. I don't think he's solely dependent on Bill Belichick, and we've seen that this season. And I think he just himself is just so committed to the game. He goes to sleep at like 8 o'clock at night every night, and he eats like an unbelievably good diet and all that. He is serious about football, and I think that the world's his oyster at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. And some people might think, look at how bad Belichick was this year. Like he couldn't even make the playoffs with Cam Newton. Like Cam Newton's a decent quarterback, but Belichick didn't get him there. But I got to defend Belichick. It's Tom Brady that they got rid of, first of all. But it's also some of the other guys that they got rid of. Danny Shelton was a key guy there. Jamie Collins, Gilmore was there for a long time as well. And it's really just Julian Edelman and Cam Newton in his first year there. It's a tough transition. The winning formula that was always there for a long time kind of changed. The Patriots have lost a lot of coaches as well. Coordinators going to different teams, and there's been a lot of transition there. So yeah, I still believe that Bill Belichick was a big factor in Brady's success. And but then again, like you said, Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's phenomenal. He's one of the hardest working players in the NFL still. And yeah, he deserves it. So I think they'll win again. Let's move on to the AFC. We got the Chiefs and the Bills. Or yeah, Chiefs and Bills. Mahomes against Allen. What do you like about the Chiefs? And I think we'll start with that because that's the easier question to go to start off. What do you think the Chiefs have to do to win this one?
Um, I think the short answer is they need to just kind of stay on their horse that they've been riding all along. This one is also, I think, going to be a really offensive game. You know, the Bills, they don't, I don't think they're completely out of this one. Most of the analysts are saying Chiefs, 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 but you know, we saw what they were able to do against Lamar, and their defense, although it's not their strong point, they have, I think, some good weapons there. Matt Milano, they could put on the outside against Kelsey, for example.
Yep.
But I'd say the Chiefs, they don't really have anything to prove. I'd say everything is on Josh Allen. I think what they should probably focus on doing is keeping Josh Allen on the sideline. If they're able to kind of delay things, make like 7-minute drives and keep him waiting and keep him hungry and frustrated, then he's going to make mistakes. He's going to get anxious, and that's ultimately the goal for them, is to bury them into the ground and get Mahomes out of the game. If you can get up 38-10 or something like that and get him out of the game, then at that point you're laughing. But I wouldn't count the Bills out of this one. The Chiefs just have to make sure that they come out strong, and that they're hungry for it.
Yeah. And yeah, the Chiefs are the heavy favorites in this one. Like back, they won the Super Bowl last year convincingly. They were the best team all year, probably convincingly as well. Dealing with that Mahomes injury last week and Henny coming in. I guess we should talk a little bit, or just mention that. Like, that was phenomenal. Him coming in the fourth quarter late there and coming up with 2 huge plays, a running play, and then that play at the end to end it, that throw to Tyreek Hill, and Andy Reid's decision to even throw the ball in that play kind of fooled all of us. We thought that they were just going to, run it down and call a timeout, but no, he went for it, and that's gutsy. And that's what Chiefs football is all about, taking risks. And, you see with Mahomes, he's always looking downfield for Hill and Watkins and Robinson and all of these guys. So it's going to be a showdown. I'm kind of on the side where I don't think it's looking good for the Bills. I think there is a chance, like a very slim chance, but I was more optimistic if Mahomes didn't play, obviously. But today it did get announced that he is removed from concussion protocol. He is playing on Sunday night. And that's obviously the biggest factor in this one. I think the Bills didn't really catch a break there. If Mahomes is out, then Buffalo Bills Mafia is pretty optimistic. They might be thinking they're going to the Super Bowl already, but we'll see what happens with that one. For the Bills, how do you shut down Mahomes? And the Bills have a great defense. They have a very solid defense. What do you do to shut down Mahomes if you're the Bills? What do you do? Rush him? Do you, play more coverage? I don't know. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's very tough to stop him.
Yeah. You know what? Kansas City, like they've been amazing. Like, Mahomes is an amazing player. Yeah. He's been really good against the blitz this year. And Buffalo's blitz game didn't really do that much to pressure quarterbacks this year. Like, they blitzed a lot, but it didn't, like, their blitz game didn't like prove much. Like, quarterbacks still got away with a lot this year against their blitz. I'd say probably Buffalo's been good against the long ball. So they need to make sure that they can stop Mahomes on the ground if that's even possible, and turn over the ball quickly, I'd say, if they can. But again, I think you nailed it on the head there. It's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, I think it's also going to come down to mistakes. If Mahomes throws some interceptions, like you said, turnovers is going to be key. But on the flip side, Josh Allen needs to have a near perfect game if they want to win. That's the only chance they have at winning. If he throws picks, it's done, because you can't just give the ball back to Mahomes like that. And that was your game plan. If you're the Chiefs, you keep Allen off the field. Allen needs to stay on the field as long as possible. That's the only way they'll win. And I do trust the Bills defense enough to limit Mahomes as much as possible, but you can't stop him. It has not been seen yet. We have not seen a defense been able to completely shut down Patrick Mahomes in that offense. And if it's not him, they have a decent running game. I don't think, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire playing, or is he still injured?
He's
still
questionable.
Out. He's questionable for the game. But they still got Le'Veon Bell, and he's always could be a game breaker, even though he's a little bit more, I guess, banged up. He's not in the prime of his career now, but he could be a game changer. I don't know about the Bills. I really want them to win. I want the Bills to win. This would be an unbelievable comeback story. They've had so much, pain they've gone through the past forever. I don't know when the last time was that they've made it this far in the playoffs. And
like the 90s.
The 90s, and it would be huge for that city and Bills Mafia and everyone. And there's a lot of Bills fans in Canada too, so it would be big for us, I guess, in some way if they make it. But it's gonna be hard. But I got to give credit. Like, Josh Allen's done a great job with that offense. Stephon Diggs has had a great season coming over from the Vikings. Like, I didn't expect him to just step in and be that number one, like, stud guy, that like top 3 wide receiver in the league, arguably. I would say top 5. And then, Cole Beasley as well. He's kind of done pretty good. He was like that number 3, number 4 guy in Dallas, and he comes in and now he's like the number 2. And then you got John Brown, exactly. And then Davis as well. On the outside. So they got a plethora of good, standout, fast wide receivers that Allen can throw to. But it's just going to come down to, can Allen protect the ball and not throw interceptions? I think that's the plan.
You raise a good point on that. But I think, going back to one of your earlier points, like, it's just going to be so tough. The Chiefs have some really good cornerbacks. Matthew, Breland, and L'Jarius Sneed. It's going to be tough to go up against, those 3 guys on the offense, even though, like we said, he does have a good tandem with Diggs, with John Brown. But like the Chiefs, kind of similarly to how we talked about with the Bucs, like they are the more complete team. Especially when you think about their defense. They've got some big names there that are going to be tough to crack for Josh Allen, because he's going to have to put up 30 points. Like, you're not going to beat the Chiefs if you can't put up 30 points, or maybe 25. But it's not looking great for Buffalo.
And I think another key to putting up 30 points is not just throwing the ball on every play to your wide receivers. Like, you got to get your run game going, especially early. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, like, they're not the biggest names for running backs, but they got to have some good games. I would like to see one of them run for over 70, 80 yards. That would make me feel pretty good that you're getting a good balance between your pass game and your run game. Because the Chiefs are going to be expecting them to throw a lot, I would say. They know that Mahomes is going to put up a lot of points on the board. The Bills are going to need to put up points fast. The only way to do that is passing, really. But
Buffalo's not a running team.
Exactly. So if you're the Chiefs, that's what you're looking at. Like, we got to shut down their pass game and force them to run the ball. I do think if the Bills can get their run game going, they have a chance. But it's so hard to go against the Chiefs, though. It's so hard. I kind of wish that. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. But if Henny was playing, it would be a very intriguing matchup, and I would say then the Bills become the favorites, and it would be a much closer affair. But I do think that the Bills could be in some hot water here. They're in tough waters.
Like, would you say that? Like, I know we said, if it weren't for Mahomes, then they'd be in a good spot. But like, would you say that there is any chance that Mahomes is like shaken up at all?
Oh yeah.
Or that the thing with his toe, it's not only his concussion, but I think there was also
he was like limping, injury. Right? Yeah.
He was hobbling off that field
for most of the game.
Like, do you think that there's a case to be made for, Mahomes not being himself this Sunday?
Not a
No.
chance. Not a chance. Dude, look at Drew Brees. Look what he played
Yeah.
with in the last game, right? He had like 11 broken ribs. and,
Yeah.
and he was still
Yeah.
able to do that. And Patrick Mahomes is cleared from concussion protocol. He's fine. He just has a toe injury, and Drew Brees is playing with like 11 broken ribs and like some other like crazy stuff. I don't know what was going on with him.
Yeah. Today they said he played with a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah, like what is this? He's a warrior, man. He's a warrior, and Patrick Mahomes is dealing with nothing, it seems. So, yeah, no, it's not his arm, right? Mahomes, all he needs is his
Yeah.
arm to really throw the
Yeah.
ball, and I mean, I think maybe the one counter argument to that is maybe the Bills are gonna run up a few more blitzes, maybe earlier on in the game, and try and get some sacks. I think they had 4 sacks last game against Lamar. They really got to him.
Yeah.
So, if they can tackle him and I don't know, aim for his toe, aim for his head in the when you hit him, when you take him down, hit him hard. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Mahomes come out of this game. I really wouldn't. If they get to him early, that's that's got to be the game plan. If you're the Bills defensive line in that room, you got to be thinking that, right? Like, we could injure this guy. If we hit him, that's our chance. Right?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's crazy. That's definitely something that they would want to do. But yeah, will they be able to get to him? Their blitz game's been pretty good,
Yeah.
but like, again, they weren't, when they did blitz, quarterbacks just they were still able to kind of weave their way through things and make things happen. But I guess, yeah, if they can put pressure on him and maybe somehow make him panic, he's just, it's going to be tough to stop him.
Yeah. Yeah, you put that pretty perfectly. Okay, let's do a score prediction here. I think we both think Chiefs for sure. What do you think the final score is going to be if you were to predict it?
I'd probably go, let's go maybe 35-30.
Okay. So that's a lot closer.
30 Chiefs.
That's a lot closer than I thought you were going to say. 35-30. So you do think the Bills will put up 30 points, but Mahomes just is that much better that they win by 5. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I'm leaning towards more like maybe a 10 point differential. I'll say 30-20. 30-20 Chiefs.
Okay.
I could also see the Bills maybe getting up to 25, and but I do think no matter what the Bills get, I think the Chiefs will get 10 more. So even if it's like 30-40, something like that, I think the Chiefs are just going to be that much better, and also they're at home as well. They got their fans there at Arrowhead as well, doing the clapping stuff that they do. Oh yeah, is it that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, sorry, this is in Minnesota.
The tomahawk chop.
The tomahawk chop. So yeah, they're gonna be wild. They're gonna be amped up for that game. So that's also a big advantage there. Do you know if the Packers are having fans? I don't think they had any fans all season, but I don't know if that changed.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Okay, so
yeah, I don't know if there'll be any cheese heads there, but
there'll be some virtual cheese heads. I'm sure they'll show some on the screen. I think Fox does a good job showing like all the fans of the different teams all in. Yeah, I don't know. It's different. It's very different.
I don't know why they have fans. It seems it doesn't seem like the best idea, but
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's not a good idea at all. But yeah, I don't know. It just depends on, I guess, where the city and if the team lets them or not. So, so yeah, Chiefs, and we got the Bucks. Chiefs, Bucks. Let's just keep going. Chiefs, Bucks, Super Bowl. Let's talk a little bit about it. That would be a pretty good story. You got the GOAT, Tom Brady, against the guy who's probably going to take his place, Patrick Mahomes. We don't need to talk too much about the teams in specific because we already did that. who would you like to see win, and then who do you think is gonna win?
Yeah. That would be an amazing game to watch. Um, you know, like the new young star against the veteran. Um, but yeah, it would be an amazing game to watch. And I think that would be another shootout too. We've had the four amazing quarterbacks right from the beginning of this championship round, and then you'd have really a game of I guess a high scoring game and a question of who has the best defense and who can remain calm. Although the game would be a home game for Tampa, which would be
Mhm.
interesting. I don't think that's ever happened before. Um, so
No.
so Mahomes would be traveling to play Brady in his home stadium with his home stands and in Tampa Bay's in perfect weather for Tampa Bay.
With fans.
Um, yeah, with fans. Um, and yeah, Tampa Bay, like we said, they have a really good defense. Um, I think Devin White is a really good player for them in terms of stopping the run. And yeah, it would be interesting. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean the storyline says it all. You got the goat against the guy who's going to take his place, and then like you said, it's in Tampa Bay. It would be the first time I think the first time ever, right? That
Yeah,
we got a team in the Super Bowl that's playing in their home venue. And then you got the matchup of probably the league's best defense then in Tampa Bay against the league's best offense in Kansas City. Um, and then, I'm sure there's a ton of other matchups you can look at. The wide receiver core, Tyreek Hill against Evans, right? And then there's some phenomenal storylines in there. It's red against red once again. Last year was 49ers
yeah.
Chiefs. Now it's Bucks Chiefs. Um, yeah, it'd be great. Who do you think's gonna win it? Who do you think would win?
I'd probably go with Kansas City.
Yeah.
They are traveling on the road, but again, like Travis Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, and their defense is looking really good. Like I mentioned before, with Snead, um, Matthew,
Right.
and just their cornerbacks are
Mhm.
looking really nice. And yeah, it's looking like they from the beginning of the year have been the team. A lot of people, or a ton of people, were saying that they were going to win it right before it started.
Yep.
Um,
Tristan
but
Fowler. I had Tristan Fowler on the podcast earlier on, and he said right away, he's just like, "Hey, you heard it here first. Bucks, Chiefs win back to back." So we'll see if he's right.
but yeah, it's rare. Like most teams have that Super Bowl hangover kind of thing afterwards, but they've been able to just steamroll through every team once again.
Yeah, it's been very impressive, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. They signed Mahomes to that monster deal, and they're gonna have Hill for a while now. He's still a very young player in the league. He's a great player too. Kelsey, I'm sure he wants to stick around for as long as possible, even though he's getting up there. Um, and yeah, it's gonna be scary. I think that could be the next dynasty. If you're looking at some of the best dynasties, you look at the Patriots, and then now with the Kansas City Chiefs, they could probably replicate that. Who knows about Andy Reid though? Is he going to retire at some point? When's he going to be done? But I'm sure as
Yeah,
long as he's there, they're going to be in a very good spot, and I'm sure whoever takes over is going to be good too. I think their offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, I'm not sure if he's going to leave or not in this offseason. I'm sure he's getting interviewed by a lot of other NFL teams that need a head coach. But if Reed does retire, he would be a great guy to take over and take the reins there. And obviously, he's done a phenomenal job with that offense. I was kind of hoping the Lions got him as their head coach,
yeah,
but I don't know if you saw, but they ended up getting the Saints assistant coach / tight ends coach, Dan Campbell. I don't know if you
yeah.
know anything about him. You know anything about him? Because I want to
Not
know.
much.
um, yeah, have you seen his interviews? His interview that he did yesterday?
What happened?
He's just saying some crazy stuff. He's a fun character. But no, he's a player's coach. He's a player's coach, and he kind of set the identity of what the team should be. He wants the Lions to kind of take on the identity of the city, a hardworking team, a team that came up from nothing and, will rise to the occasion. And he said something crazy like, we're going to get shot down, but we're still going to get back up. We're going to bite off your kneecap, and then we're going to get shot down again, and then we're going to bite off your other kneecap, and we're still going to get back up, and then we're going to take 3 more shots and get hit, and then still get back up. Stuff like that. And he was also a former Lions player. He played here for 3 years, so he knows the city too. He knows the pain. He was a part of that 0-16 team. So he really knows the pain, but he also knows that, the city is good and is passionate. And I'm sure you know it as well as a Red Wings fan. Like, the fans in Detroit are very passionate. It's a motorsports town.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really all the football we got to talk about. I'm really excited about Dan Campbell. I'm excited about the Lions' future. I'm excited about the draft coming up. I don't know what's going to happen with Matthew Stafford. Are we going to draft a quarterback or not? We'll see about that. But yeah, that's really it for our prediction segment. Bucks, Chiefs, Super Bowl. It should be a great weekend. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend. I'm sure we'll both be watching it, and yeah, it's going to be fun. You want to talk any more football?
I think that's good for now. It's like you said, it'll be some good TV.
Definitely. Let's talk some George Springer, MLB, Toronto Blue Jays. This was in talks for a long time, I guess. It was just a rumor, though. We didn't know how serious it was going to be. But, Atkins and Shapiro, they said it for a while. We're going to be busy this offseason. We're going to be making moves. We're going to be spending money. Now is our time to do it. But then you start seeing guys come off the board. You see Francisco Lindor get traded to the Mets, and the Jays were rumored to be in that one. And what happened there? And then you hear about Springer. It's like, we're not the front runners, though. It's the Mets that are offering him the money and stuff, and we're not willing to go that far. But then, yeah, I think it was Wednesday night. George Springer signed with the Toronto Blue Jays, 6 years. 6 years. He's 31, 6 years, $150 million, which is the biggest contract the Jays have ever signed to a free agent. So, Evan, when this signing happens, what's your initial reaction to it?
It's a huge addition. He's going to be a huge piece. How good is he in the outfield? He's definitely good. He's better than Grichuk. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be a Gold Glove type guy per se.
He's won a Gold Glove, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's won maybe not about that, but he's pretty solid.
He's pretty solid. But I guess his bat is where things are really impressive for us and are really going to make a transformation.
Yeah.
And maybe it isn't. Maybe it's not so much of a transformation as it is just adding some fuel to the team. Because I think you made a good point. We've got a relatively young team that's rebuilt itself after some tough times, and the AL is not as daunting as it once was. And I think that like now that we've got this elite guy to kind of, I guess, carry the team on his back to a certain extent, and be that main guy, that things only look more promising. Although I was like I said earlier, the cheating thing I don't think looks all that great on the organization. I know he didn't, like, it wasn't the Jays at all that had anything to do with it, but I guess just, I don't know if I would want to buy a Springer jersey, for example.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think, and like I talked a little bit about it on the Big League as well a couple of weeks ago, like if we were to get Springer, like how would the fans accept him? And if he plays well, like our opinions are going to change on him like right away. If he can put up the numbers that he was putting up in Houston, we're going to forgive him right away. And yes, he was a part of that cheating thing, and that's a big thing. That's a big no-no. He should not be doing that. He's come out and apologized publicly. I'm sure he might say something too when he arrives here. He might say something to Jays Nation about that. But I don't think we should look at the downside like that too much. I got to look at the positives, and the player that we're getting, he's a pretty good defensive center fielder. He can cover a lot of ground there. He's got a cannon of an arm. And then his bat, he can put up 40 home runs a year. He can bat 270, 280, driving a lot of RBIs. So he's going to be great. And he can play like all over the lineup too. If you want to put him in the one spot, you can put him there. He can steal bases. You can put him in the cleanup spot, 5, 3-hole, 2-hole. So I think it's huge. The one thing that is a little bit, iffy is the length of the contract. 6 years. Mm-hmm. He's going to be 37 by the time that's up. And, that's, an age where the Jays didn't really want to re-sign Bautista, Encarnacion, Donaldson. They let them all go. And because they weren't good. Bautista only hit maybe 15 home runs in his final year as a Jay. Encarnacion did a lot better than that, but and same with Donaldson. Like, he struggled his last year as a Jay. I think that was 2018. But yet again, he was also dealing with some injuries. And that's the risk with this contract as well. If Springer gets hurt, you got him for 6 years and you're paying him a ton of money, most in franchise history. So I want to look at the Jays lineup now. And I did a little bit of a comparison from the 2015 team and the 2021 team. And we're just going to run down the lineup here. And I'm going to ask you just, who do you think is better from the 2015 team to the 2021 team right now? So at first base, in 2015, it was Edwin Encarnacion. And the projected 2021 first baseman right now is Rowdy Tellez. So let's just start off quick. Who do you think's better?
What about Guerrero?
I put Guerrero as the third baseman right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tellez against Edwin.
Yeah.
I'd say Edwin was better, but Tellez is looking really good. He's looking really good.
Yeah, for sure. And also when I did this, I was thinking like 2015 Encarnacion. So that was like when he was insane, like over 40 home runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. Like, Tellez had a great year last year, and he has the potential to, be a great player in the league. I don't think he's ever going to reach Encarnacion's standard, but yeah, let's move on. Second base, Ryan Goins. Remember him? Ryan Goins, 2015. Yeah. And then Kevin Biggio.
I'd go with Biggio. He's been great for the team that we have now. And Goins wasn't the worst thing in the world, but he was I think he was a number 9 hitter. He wasn't he wasn't anything all that special at the plate. He had a reasonably good glove, but I'd probably say I'd say Biggio, as given where we are right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Biggio has the better bat, the better OBP, can take walks, and I don't think he has the glove yet that Goins did, but Biggio is still very good defensively. So I'll take Biggio there too. Shortstop, 2015 Troy Tulowitzki and Bo Bichette.
You know what? That's not a. That at one point that obviously wouldn't be up for debate. Like, Tulowitzki was arguably the best in the game for his position. Like, Bichette's he's been amazing. Like,
yeah. I'm taking Bichette. You don't have to take Tulo. I'm taking Bichette here.
I'd probably, I might have to hand it to Tulo, just because it's 2015. It's him in 2015.
Yep.
He was amazing, and although we kind of crumbled at the end that year, he probably, like, he was a lot older than Bichette is now, but at the same time, I think it's a really close comparison there.
Yeah, it is very close. And yeah, Tulo did have a good year in 2015. You know, he came here. I think did he get 2 home runs in his first game? I know he got one for sure. I don't know if he got a second,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, he did have a great playoffs as well. And defensively he's a lot better than Bo Bichette. Gold Glover, can throw from anywhere really on the field on that left side. And he's got that Derek Jeter hop. He doesn't have that Jeter hop. He has that sidearm throw, that like almost like submarine throw at shortstop. I think he does a little
Yeah.
bit of a crow hop too when he throws. Bichette's not there yet defensively. I will say that I think Bo Bichette has a better bat right now. I think Bo Bichette is one of the best hitters in baseball right now. So
And you don't expect much from shortstop, so that's pretty amazing that we have that kind of dual talent type guy.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, I'll give it to Bo. You're gonna give it to Troy on that one. Third base, we got the MVP, Josh Donaldson. It's tough to go against that. And then Vladdy Guerrero Jr. I don't see Vladdy putting up the same caliber year as JD did in that year. So I'll give it to Josh.
Yeah, you can't really. That was his MVP season. But you know what, Guerrero at how old is he? 20. He's
like 21. Yeah.
He's amazing. He's gonna be great, especially given his age, that he's able to do this much this early.
Yep. So we'll both give it to Donaldson there. And Vladdy's also looked really good. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him recently, but he looks a lot slimmed down. He could have a monster year.
He could. Know.
Left field, Ben Revere. Remember him? Yeah, we got him at the deadline too.
From Philly, right?
From Philly, yeah. And then we got him up against Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who's the projected starting left fielder. And these are two very different players.
That's a tough one. I'd probably say Revere. He had some good speed, some really good speed. I'd probably go with him.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Gurriel. I think his bat, honestly, Revere does hit for average though. He gets on base a lot. He puts up a lot of singles. He can run. I will take the power though. I'll take Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And also, like, Revere was known for his defense before getting to Toronto. I think he struggled a little bit. I don't know if it's just the transition to Rogers Center, but in 2015, he wasn't the greatest defensively.
No.
So, and Gurriel, like, I guess you can make the same argument. When Gurriel first started playing at Rogers Center, well, he played a completely different position. He was a shortstop. He was in the infield, but then he transitioned over to left field. That's a really tough one, but I will give it to Gurriel. I think Gurriel will be better there. Center field, I think that's just pretty easy one. I'm not a big Kevin Pillar guy, and he's up against George Springer here. So George Springer. Yeah. I think Springer will also be better defensively than Kevin Pillar. I don't know if you think that too, but
well, like Kevin Pillar had that ability to just be so clutch and so acrobatic.
Yeah.
They are probably they're different players. They're different players. Pillar, you know what? He may have a slight edge with his glove. It's tough to say.
Mm-hmm.
But Springer is the all-around better guy. There's no doubt.
Okay. Yep. George Springer. Right field, Jose Bautista. And Randall Grichuk is the projected right fielder right now.
Yeah, I'd go with Jose.
Yeah, Jose. I'm not a big Grichuk fan. If you listen to the show, I'm not a big Randall Grichuk fan. I could see them trading him. You got Springer now. You got a jam-packed outfield.
He's pretty good.
You think Grichuk's pretty good?
Yeah.
Good enough to keep him, or do you think they could trade him and get some good value back?
No, they could get rid of him.
Yeah.
Like he's not something they need to hold on to, but like his bat was decent.
Correct. Yes. He did have a very good season last year. I can't get that wrong. Like, he was great. But before that, he kind of reminded me of Pilar, swinging at pitches outside of the zone, striking out a lot, always going for that home run type of swing. Grichuk needs to stay away from that. If he can, hit for average more so than home runs, I think he's in a better spot. And his glove is pretty good in the outfield. He's pretty solid. For a corner outfield spot. For center field, I don't know if he's cut out. But right field right now, Randall Grichuk, that's pretty good. And he's not going to play necessarily that high in the lineup too. He could be like your seventh guy now that you got Springer. He's probably going to drop more. So yeah.
Like I think he had the most RBIs, or he was up there for RBIs last year at least.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, he did have a great year. He had a pretty good season.
Why are you not a fan?
I think he just reminded me a lot of Pilar. Like I said, just strikes out a lot. Always just the swinging for the fences, and I do think a lot of that was influenced from his first 2 years here. But last year, it did kind of change my mind a little bit. But still, I don't think that he can consistently put up those numbers and consistently be an everyday center fielder on a winning team. I think, he's a starting center fielder on most MLB teams, but if you want to win the World Series, you can't have Grichuk at starting center field. No. Corner outfield, I agree with. If you want to keep him in right, keep him in right. But I want him to not play center field again. Let's move on. Oh yeah, go.
I guess the Astros moved. Didn't they put Marisnik in center a lot and then move Springer over to left or right?
That's also true. Yeah, I do see Springer. I think Springer is an everyday center fielder, though.
It's not the same situation, but he can play any outfield position.
Yeah,
I guess.
And I think even the Astros, they put Derek Fisher at center field too sometimes. Yeah, well, who knows what's going to happen to him? He's kind of the left man out here, Hey, if we bring back Aaron Sanchez, it's all worth it, though. Let's sign him up. Let's bring him back. Minor league contract.
Not him.
Not him? I think we could use him. Why not? If it's only a minor league deal. I was talking to Tyler about this a couple of days ago, and I was just like, yo, I miss some of these guys from like the 2015, 2016 team. Like, and they're all free agents. Like Dalton Pompey, like just bring him back. Like I need some of this nostalgia. Like, just sign him to a minor league deal. Kevin Pillar is a free agent as well. Like he could be a great guy off the bench for us. So like just put him in to pinch run and then Sanchez. Yeah. And, Stroman was a free agent at one point. But then he did the compensation with the Mets. So I do miss some of these players. I think who is the longest tenured Toronto Blue Jay right now? Like that's a tough question. I don't know if you can think of that. I don't even know.
The longest, currently the longest standing Jay.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. It was Justin Smoke, but he was gone last off season. Yeah, I don't know who it is.
Hernandez?
It might be Teoscar Hernandez, and that was pretty recent. That was very recent. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows who it is? It could be Hernandez. Speaking of Hernandez, that's the next position, DH. Hernandez will be the DH projected. And do you remember who the DH was in 2015 for the Jays?
Edwin.
Technically, yeah. Well, who was like? I put Edwin as first base. So who was the first baseman / DH? Do you remember? You got to think of that song, that first place song. I'm putting you on the spot. He hit
Barrow?
for. No, I forgot about him though. Oh, that's funny. Do you
why do I want to say Edwin though? I thought it was him.
Well, yeah, like they rotated. Like Edwin played first / DH, and the same with this other guy.
Who is it?
Chris Colabello. Yeah.
No. No, he was first, and then Edwin was and then Edwin was DH.
Hey, it was vice versa. Yeah. And also Smoke, I guess, was technically in that mix as well. Yeah, I guess just for the sake of this, I put Edwin at first.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Colabello. So we're doing Colabello against Guerrero.
No,
okay.
Yeah,
no, well,
I know what you mean. Yeah. Because Guerrero is the first baseman, but then yet again, I put Guerrero at third base.
Right.
So
yeah, you call the shots here.
Yeah. Okay. So Colabello and Hernandez.
You know what? Let's go with Colabello.
Yeah, he was good.
He was good.
Got on base a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And Hernandez had a phenomenal season this year, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then last but not least, catcher Russell Martin or Danny Jansen?
Martin.
Yeah.
He struck out a lot, and he wasn't a very good hitter, but he was at that time he was a legend. Yeah,
great defensively too. Only downside was that he couldn't catch that R.A. Dickey knuckleball, but that's fine. I'm sure Danny Jansen can do that right now anyways. So yeah, Russell Martin, he had the better bat. I think Jansen has the potential though. He has the potential to be a great offensive catcher, and he's proven to be pretty good defensively. He was also the only guy who hit a home run for us in that wild card game, in that blowout. Mm-hmm. I think he hit 2 that game.
That was rough.
Yeah, that was rough. So yeah, what are your expectations for next year's Toronto Blue Jays team? You know, is Springer enough to maybe get us past the wild card round this year?
Like, you know what? I think if the rest of the guys show up, then yeah, then they can be potentially in the divisionals. If the rest of the guys show up, you know, the pitching is pretty good. There's not much to complain about there. I don't know if I think you threw the term World Series team out there, but I don't know if that's in the cards quite yet. Because you know, Springer, he's not enough to get us there by himself.
No.
But you know, like Pearson, Ryu, the pitching's looking pretty good. The bats are probably, you know, they're getting there. And yeah, it's a relatively young team that's got, like, I'd say a pretty good outlook. Like with Springer, I don't know, we're like, are his numbers real? That's what I'm wondering about. Like I remember you mentioned that his numbers and yeah, he's a good player, but
yeah,
were they real?
That's true. Yeah, I guess so. That's a good point. He did have a good year last year, and I'm sure there was no trash can banging going on then. But you do bring up a good point. Like for 2017, I'm sure his numbers are a little bit skewed. I'm like, for sure, like a couple less home runs and stuff. So I don't know. He's still a great player. When he played on the U.S. team, he was great. And even though he's a cheater, I'd like to think he's a good person. I think he's a good guy in the clubhouse. He gets along with everyone. He can teach these young guys a lot. And I think I'm on a little bit of the other side. I think the pitching might need some work. I think the bats are there. Like, we named up a lot of guys from this current Toronto Blue Jays team that are better than the guys in 2015. So I think, we're, maybe equal to that level of talent. I know we were like the best offense in baseball in 2015, but I think we got potential this year to beat that. I think we have probably some more depth. I think, in that 2015 team, there was Polar at the bottom of our lineup who wasn't very good. There was, Russell Martin, who wasn't always the best. He can hit the home runs, but not the best at getting on base. But now it's looking like you got Telez at the bottom of your lineup, Hernandez at the bottom of your lineup, Grichuk at the bottom of your lineup, Jansen, right? So it might be better in terms of depth. We might be lacking a little bit of star power, but if Vladdy explodes, that changes everything. If Bo becomes an all-star, if Biggio continues what he's doing, George Springer, Gurriel, we're forgetting about him. If he continues to break out, I don't think the offense is a problem. I think it's the pitching. I think you look at Ryu and Pearson, like you said, but then like who else is there? I think maybe the one strength of that 2015 was the pitching depth, or maybe even 2016, the pitching depth with Jay Happ and Estrada, and Stroman and Sanchez. In 2015, we didn't even have Sanchez as a starter. And we still had R.A. Dickey, who pitched the fourth game, and I'm still upset about that.
Yeah.
You should never have pitched that game.
Yeah. Like Robbie Ray was like, he wasn't the worst thing.
That's true. Yeah, he's not the worst thing, but we haven't even signed a Shoemaker. Like, he might not be back this year.
Yeah.
Taiwan Walker, he's not. We don't know if he's going to be back, and those are two big pieces that helped us throughout the whole year. Or Walker, like close to the end of the year, but Shoemaker the whole year. But yeah, if Pearson steps into it and becomes a starter, because I think he was in the bullpen, right, Pearson, and then he was dealing with some injuries, and he didn't pitch a lot of innings. I would like to see us get maybe at least one more starting pitcher to make us legit. I like our bullpen. I think our bullpen is good. I think we have a lot of pitching depth as an organization, but I think we're missing some starting pitchers. And I know like baseball is transitioning into a game where you don't really need to rely on starting pitchers for a long outing anymore. They can go 3 innings and then just go to your bullpen. It's becoming more of a bullpen game, but I would still like to see them get at least one more starter, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
It would be nice. And I'm not talking like I know they're rumored to be looking at Trevor Bauer still. I don't think that personality is going to be a good fit in the clubhouse personally. He would be a great ad. Like he would be our ace. He would be our number one. He would take Ryu's spot if Bauer came here. But I don't know if we should go out and spend the money on Bauer. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's going to fit well. But there's other guys out there. I think there's Tanaka. There's James Paxton, the Canadian, that might be a good fit here. So yeah, there's some other guys, but so what are you thinking about with the Jays? Do you think, playoffs again this year or second round?
Yeah.
Yeah. ALDS?
I think they'll get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure about how far they'll go once they get there. Like you said, there's a few additions that probably need to be made until it's, a team that can really work some magic and get to the ALCS, for example.
Yeah.
And the format, like it's 2 game. Well, I mean, during the virus, I think they changed it to a 2-gamer for the wild card.
For the wild card,
but without the virus, it was always just a toss up, pretty much, like the 1-game wild card showdown. So, I think it's possible that they make it to the 5-game series, the ALDS. But again, like maybe with a guy like Trevor Bauer, that maybe they could really kind of bolster the rotation and make some things happen. I think it'll be a good season. It's I think it's only 56 games though. So
I don't think it's been announced yet. I don't know if that's been announced. 56 for hockey.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it looks like in terms of like the virus, but
yeah, I think they're even rumored to play all their games in Dunedin right now. So they won't be let in here. It's going to be the same situation with the Raptors. And then, yeah, I don't know. I think the Jays have a great offense, like I said, and then pitching could use some work. Their starters. Um, but I'm just looking at the rest of the AL, and I see an opportunity for the Jays maybe to make it back to the ALCS. Like I
Yeah.
don't see a lot of competition. Like even in our division, like the Yankees might be a bit scared. They might be a bit scared of our offense now. Boston, they're not the greatest. Tampa Bay, they just traded away Blake Snell. So there's some question marks. The Indians aren't what they used to be. The Astros aren't really what they used to be. Like the Angels are kind of a toss up. Oakland, I don't know. It's really a toss up. I think the Jays could make it to the ALCS, but we'll see about that. Anything else you want to talk about with the Jays?
Well, I guess what about the Yankees? Don't you think that this could be like? Don't you think they're knocking on the door and could be really their downfall, the Jays' downfall?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, they're probably the biggest competition towards the Jays right now. But other than that, like there's not really too many other teams that I'm worried about. It's probably between the Jays, the Astros, and the Yankees right now. That's how I see it. But then again, like the Yankees aren't. I don't know if they're. Don't get me wrong. The Yankees have a great lineup, like Stanton, Judge, LeMahieu just re-signed there, and then they got Garrett Cole as their pitcher. But I think they're lacking, kind of like the Jays, that starting pitching depth. Like after Garrett Cole, who is it? Like they're gonna lose Sabathia. They already lost Sabathia a while ago. They're gonna lose Tanaka. They have Severino, but I don't really know after that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I think the pitching their pitching is actually pretty good.
the Yankees pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently Kluber might be something.
is that official? Did they get him?
Yeah,
Or
I don't
I'll look it up. But no, I
like
definitely like. It's gonna be
like
tough to
he.
win our division. He is a Yankee. He is a Yankee. They did finalize it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I know he had like some kind of connection with one of the managers or something.
Right. Right. How did he do last year? 3.86 ERA, I think. But I mean, last year's stats you can't really look at because the innings were down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kluber is a good piece. He is 34. I don't know if the age is gonna affect him or not. Um, but I think is he a former Cy Young winner? I think with the Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But and just I guess just with Garrett Cole, like himself.
yeah, yeah, you're right. You are right about this. Yeah. Like yeah, like it's gonna be tough to win the AL East. I think. Do you agree that the Jays could finish in second place or should finish in second place?
Yeah, like um the Red Sox aren't as much of a threat anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think probably
Mm-hmm.
it's possible.
Yeah. And then yeah, I mean, even if the Yankees win the division, then I don't see the Jays falling to that number 4 seed in the AL. It's really too early to start talking about this. I think like I don't have like
Yeah.
the best opinion on it right now. Like I need to see what their final roster looks like. But as of right now, I don't see the Jays falling below 4th in the American League. So that
No?
means that they probably wouldn't even play the Yankees in the ALDS. It wouldn't be until the ALCS where they play them, and who knows where the Astros are going to fall. Like pieces need to fall into place here if they want to win. Like in 2015, the Jays got really unlucky. They played the Royals. The Royals are coming off that World Series loss in the year prior to the Giants in Game 7, and they were hungry, and the Royals just eat them up. And then it was the same thing with the Indians in the next year, 2016. So yeah, I don't know. We just got to catch a break and just hope for the best and win.
So you think Baltimore at the bottom?
Definitely. Yeah. Do you think Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I think like you said with Snell, I think he went to, was it San Diego?
yeah.
Um, then yeah, maybe even the Rays we can compete with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think the Rays
Yeah.
will. I could even see the Red Sox maybe leapfrogging the Rays. The Red Sox could maybe finish in third. Um, yeah, I do have to say, if we get to the World Series, it will be hard to win though.
Yeah.
But because
Like
the Dodgers, Padres.
like yeah. And I wouldn't, I guess I don't want to get, ahead of myself with Springer, just because he's a, like, he's a naturally good baseball player. But again, even in 2019, they were still cheating, most likely. And so it's been like, remember the Altuve home run where he told him not to rip his shirt off.
Was that 2019? When
Yeah,
did they get caught? Did they get caught
right
at
after the
right
29
2019
final.
off season? Yeah, right. And they lost the World Series that year to the Nationals. Yeah, yeah. So you think that that Springer's numbers are just completely off, and it's just an awful
Yeah.
signing by the Jays, basically.
No.
I, you bring up a good point. We could be looking at, this time next year and Springer hit like 150 with like no home runs. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He will.
yeah.
It's just I don't know if he's I don't know if he's gonna be like a like I don't know if he'll be Jose Bautista, for example. I don't know if necessarily he'll be as good as Bautista was for us that year.
In 2015, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's tough. It's tough to compare anyone to Bautista. He was phenomenal that year.
Yeah.
I could see him putting up similar numbers to him in a 162 game season, and then I think they got to rely a lot on Vladdy as well to have a similar type season to Springer. And then Bichette is probably going to be that Donaldson, I guess, more so, where he can get a higher average and the home runs can come from that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Biggio just gets on base, and I think we have a solid foundation here. And I do like what Shapiro and Atkins have done. I don't think they're finished. I like how they're being more aggressive. I like how they're, trying to win right now. They know that they've signed these young guys to, contracts that they can afford right now, but they're going to have to sign them to bigger contracts at some point down the road. And they want to take advantage of it right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Quick thought on the Red Wings before leaving.
You know what? The World Juniors gave me some hope, like watching that Swedish team with all those prospects that we have.
Yeah.
Like Raymond,
Right.
Soderblom. There were some good names, and they showed up this year.
Yeah.
They weren't obviously in the final, but some of those prospects I think are going to be good down the road. Obviously, it's not the best team. It's not a good, like, we don't have a good team, but I think slowly, especially with this virus season, like the shortened season and everything, that like they'll slowly be able to kind of make a name for themselves again. Maybe not this season, but in like years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fabry,
Yeah.
and then Dylan Larkin again. They've got
Captain.
Sam Gagne. Yeah, that's obviously it's not a stacked group of
Tyler
names, but
Bertuzzi. I don't think Gagne or I don't even know about Fab. Like Fabry's okay.
Glendening,
Yeah. Yeah.
Nemesnikov.
I don't think most of these guys are going to be a part of like a contending Red Wings team.
No.
I think they're just fillers right now. But they have some upside. Sider as well on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else do they have? Any other good prospects? Raymond, yeah, Sider.
They've got Albert Johansson.
Who did they
He's
just
a defenseman.
Oh, Albert Johansson. Did they just draft Raymond? Was that this year? Yeah, I think it was, right?
Yeah, he was the fourth pick.
Yeah, fourth pick. Yeah. Yeah, I think that could be a good pick for them. Yeah. But yeah, and like Bobby Ryan as well. He's had a good year so far. I think he's got like 4 goals in 3 games, something like that. So
And Mantha.
Yeah, Anthony Mantha. He's going to be a big part of the future too.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, he's still only like 27, 26.
Oh, he's got to be younger. Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope the Red Wings can get back. Let's hope the Lions can get back. These Detroit sports teams are not looking good, but even the Pistons, they're not looking too good. But hey, you never know.
I guess what do you think of the Penguins?
I'm not the biggest Penguins fan anymore. I don't know if you know. I'm a Leafs fan. I'm full Leafs, really. Penguins, they're in a tough spot right now. They're paying Malkin and Crosby and Letang big money, and the rest of the guys aren't, at that same level of where they were 2015, 2016 when they won, or sorry, 2016, 17 when they won back-to-back cups. I don't know. I'm just grateful that I got to see that, to be honest. Back-to-back cups is pretty impressive. That doesn't come around too often. And I think Crosby and Malkin can retire knowing that they've won 3 cups each. And, even Fleury, he's won 3 cups. Letang's won 3 cups. They've had a phenomenal 10 years plus being a Penguin. So
and a few of them have Olympic medals.
Exactly. Yeah. Sidney Crosby. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if they're even going to make the playoffs this year, to be honest. It's a tough division.
Yeah.
Like Philly looks pretty good. Even Boston, you can't count them out yet. The Rangers look okay. Who else is in that division? I think there's another good team. Is it Florida? Yeah, Florida's in that division, right? I think so.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think, Florida, Washington as well. Florida, Washington, Philly, and it's going to be between Boston, the Rangers, or Pittsburgh, I think, for that final spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Do you think the Penguins will make it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Leafs, eh? Yeah.
The Leafs, that's my team. It's been my team for a while.
I think
2016.
I think I was aware, but I thought you were kind of still holding on to your Penguins spirit.
Yeah, they're still my second favorite team. Like I still would watch like their playoff games and stuff like that. But no, I don't know. I've kind of taken a bit of a back seat, I guess, from the Penguins, focused more on the Leafs. So
you think, like, what do you think the Leafs have to do? Because it seems to always just kind of be the same story. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always some kind of missing piece that causes them to crumble at the end. What is it, and what do you think they have to do?
Evan, if I knew, I'd be calling up Sheldon Keefe right now to tell him exactly what he has to do to win the Stanley Cup. I don't know. I don't think they know. I talked a little bit about this last podcast, and I'm just I'm waiting for this team to just turn into a team that I guess it's just like relentless, and that plays the game smart, that gives it their effort every shift, that doesn't make sloppy passes. Like for example, like the passes that Matthews and Marner make, like those no look backhand saucer passes, like on the power play, like when they're coming into their zone, just like dropping it like that. Or Matthews backhand passes just seem so lazy to me. And also like when they get a lead, they give it up right away. They score a goal and they let in another goal like 1 minute later at the end of a period. I like their team a lot better than last year. I think their defense is solid. I like the addition of Bogosian and TJ Brody. I think that makes them a more defensive team. I like the duo of Anderson and Campbell. But there's just I'm just waiting, and I said this last podcast. I didn't really know what it meant, but I'm just waiting for the Leafs to go to the Leafs, like just to become the Toronto Maple Leafs, and not just like a
because
team that everybody picks on. They're not
because
there yet.
they have a really good group of names, like Hyman and Tavares and Marner. Like these are good players, and I think you make a good point. Like,
But
when are they going to become when are those guys going to actually
yeah, and
become who they really are?
and like you said, like we have all those guys, but those guys need to be our best players every single night, and they're not.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like they're relying on the other person. Like Matthews is relying on Tavares to have a big night, and then vice versa. Like it flip flops between the lines. I want to see, like you got to look at the Tampa Bay Lightning last year. They won the cup. They're the perfect example. Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov without Steven Stamkos dominated every single night. Point, Kucherov, and Palat. That line just took off. Why can't the Leafs do that with two lines like that? Matthews, Marner, and I guess Matthews is injured right now too. He's day to day, but the line was Matthews, Marner, Hyman. That line should be unstoppable. Second line, Tavares, Nylander, and whoever they put there, VC, Mikheyev. It should be great too. You got John Tavares on your second line. That should be a good second line, and Nylander along with him. I don't know. Simmons has been okay, and I don't know, man. I'm not getting my hopes up anymore. I'm waiting. And I talked about it last podcast. Go watch last podcast. If you're listening to this right now,
who was on?
I had Zarius Justivala on, and we talked some Toronto Maple Leafs, and I talked a lot about this stuff. But geez, what was I gonna say now? I was thinking about even that Toronto Blue Jays team back in 2015. Like in that first game of the season, they played the Yankees and they won like 7-2, and something just clicked for me. I think I told Jack McKay at White Oaks the next day, like, yeah, this team might win the World Series. Like they're that good. Because I felt it. Like Donaldson is intimidating. Like Donaldson is intimidating to other teams. Bautista is intimidating, and Encarnacion. Russell Martin, he's a gamer. He's from Canada. He's made it to the playoffs like every year up until that point. He's a leader, right? You just have that mentality that they're not gonna lose, right? They're gonna make the playoffs for sure, and they're gonna win. And I said this last podcast too. Mitch Marner is not Josh Donaldson. Mitch Marner is not intimidating. Are you intimidated by Mitch Marner right now? If you're any other team in the league, like you can shut him down. Every other team knew that they couldn't stop Donaldson. Nobody knew how to figure him out. And I'm just waiting for that to happen with the Leafs. It's got to be at least one of them. And I think it's Matthews. I do think it's Matthews. If I had to pick one of the core four, I think Matthews will step up. But yeah, until that point, until one guy really just is intimidating to other teams and can give a 110% effort every single night and lead by example, I'm not willing to get my hopes up yet. Like if we had like a Jonathan Taves, it would be different. Like he is a leader. He's not going to accept any laziness, or he's going to work hard. Sidney Crosby, he's got that work ethic. I even think Connor McDavid kind of has those attributes already at his age. I'm just waiting for the Leafs to have that.
You're right. Because I was watching some like some of the previews of like for the NFL about how like Mahomes, for example, he came back last year when his team was down 10 points with 8 minutes to go, and he brought them back. And
single-handedly,
if you can't be the best at the most difficult moments and the most high pressure moments, then you won't be the best. And like we saw that with the Toronto Blue Jays in that year. in the fall of 2015. Like we had against the Royals, like at the end of the game, we had like some really good chances. We had bases loaded. I think it was bases loaded with nobody out, or bases loaded with one out, and we just couldn't make it happen. So
That's true.
like,
Yeah.
if we just, I guess, yeah, you have to be able to.
I don't really like to compare it to that exact moment, because I do think like that team was great. Like that team was intimidating. We had so many walk-off wins, comeback wins.
Yeah.
And in that specific situation, like I just look at it like we had the wrong guys up at the wrong time. Like we had Navarro up, right?
But yeah.
No, we watched the games together. I was at your place for this game. And no, like I think it wasn't bases loaded. We had Pompey on third base with one out. That's what it was. Pompey on third base with one out. We needed a sacrifice fly, but it was Navarro, I'm pretty sure. And he struck out. And I think it was Revere grounded out or something like that. Or was it third base? I think he was on second base with no outs, something like that. Yeah.
We had the chance was right in front of our eyes, but
also with that game, there was the rain delay, right? Like it kind of messed with our mojo. Lorenzo Cain comes back and hits that double or something, and then to get the Royals the lead. Like we had the momentum. Bautista hit that home run and we were feeling good about ourselves, but then the rain delay kind of messed it up. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's you can't win them all.
Yeah, you can't win them all, that's for sure. But yeah, Leafs game tonight against the Oilers. No Matthews, no Joe Thornton. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting my hopes up yet. I'll watch all the games and I'll still be cheering and still get excited when they score, but I'm still just waiting for that moment where I can be like, okay, this team might do something. And I could talk about this for so long. Like I watched the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know if you've watched any of their games recently, but the way that they just go in on the forecheck and hang on to the puck and do what they do, like they're just 10 times better than the Leafs. And the Lightning have the same thing. The Golden Knights have the same thing. It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's just, it seems like they, like on paper, they seem like a really good, I remember Mr. Guthrie told me that that the five guys, like that 2017 season, like in the fall of 2017, like he thought that those five guys that the Leafs had were better than any other five guys that any other team had. And you know what? Maybe
the
he
five
was
guys,
right. Like
Riley,
Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Matthews. Yeah. But they just, I guess they aren't able to convert.
They were very young back then. Sorry, Mr. Guthrie. Yeah. I agree. I disagree with you for sure there. You had Mr. Guthrie. What year did you have Mr. Guthrie? 3?
I had him in grade 12.
Okay.
But then I switched out of his class.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, they were very young back then, and yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk any more Leafs, to be honest. I think we should move on. We should end this thing. Evan, it's been really fun talking to you about sports. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate the invite, and I wish you all the best with the rest of your semester.
Hey, you too, man. I appreciate that. I'll get you on in the future as well. So stay tuned for episode 2 with Evan, coming soon.
Did I behave myself?
Oh yeah, for sure. You're a great guest. I'd love to have you back on.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. Like the video. Show Evan some love. Make sure you follow @UnlimitedPod on Instagram as well if you aren't already. And yeah, I'll be back with an episode next week. And we'll see you guys later. Take care. Peace.